Well, hello and good evening, Survivor 50, Episode 7. That's not how I play Survivor is over, but here on Super Materist Podcasting, we're just getting warmed up. Whether you're joining us here live on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook even, if that's, or if you're catching the audio version wherever you get your podcast, our mission to cover every merge, blindside, meltdown, and masterstroke continues here on the channel. Trust has been shattered. Tempers have flared. We have a big 14-person tribal council in this episode, and we're here to break it all down with a top-tier panel. I'm Dave Mater. And we got schoolyard pick, politics, and a whole bunch of things to talk about here. Of course, with us, our resident pro wrestling aficionado, always ready to call out the heel turns, the babyface plays, and the tribal theatrics to feel straight out of the squared circle. Episode 7, full of big characters and even bigger swings. He's breaking down the booking. Jason R. Phillips, everyone.
Hello, it's me. I thought this episode would be called something about haikus, but it wasn't. Jaemeel, you're pointing at Dave. Are you backwards?
It seems so. When I see it, it shows I'm pointing at you.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's weird.
And of course, also joining us, Funko Stacked, Opinions Primed. He's the pop culture tactician who can smell a misleading edit from a mile away. If someone's playing too cute with their emotions or the idols, he's calling it out. Jaemeel Robinson.
Bonesaw's ready.
Bonesaw. Ready. Ooh. Yes, of course. Spoilers for episode 7 of Survivor 50, which aired here on this April the 8th, 2026. We are more than halfway, I guess, into this season now. Jason, it's been 2 weeks since we've caught up with you. And then Jaemeel, I don't know if I spoke with you last. No, you were there, but you had to leave early. That's right. And it's all coming back to me now. It was the blood moon. What do you like? We came off a blood moon, everyone. There was 3 evictions. We're well into the jury. Last time,
2 Canadians.
2 Canadians.
Camilla and Genevieve are both Canadian.
Well, Camilla's the next Pat, but we won't. Get into that right now.
Where does she live? She lives in Ontario, I'm pretty sure, right? She's
Camilla?
Canadian. Yeah.
No, she lives in the States.
Oh, are you sure? I thought
She's from Ontario and she lives in
San
LA
Francisco.
or
California. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yes,
You're
but
right.
Genevieve lives in Winnipeg, so we claim her a little closer, I say.
Yeah.
Where does Mike Myers live?
That's
States.
a good point. He lives in probably California as well.
I'm just saying.
Hey, the diaspora. Like we still claim them, but it's a whole thing.
To answer your question, well, my fantasy team is on life support for the fantasy game I'm playing with people. We get a pick at merge, so I took Ozzy against my better judgment. The last episode was probably the best episode of Survivor ever, even though the giant inflated Cheeto came on screen halfway through and talked about nothing for 25 minutes.
You mean last week in the blood moon and all that chaos?
It
Yes,
was the blood moon that rose in the middle of it. And then the whole night I'm going, is this gonna like preempt it in a way that it's gonna like be shorter? Nope. And then on top of that, nobody warned me it was also a a long episode. So if I would not have been able to do last week, I was so
you had opted out before any of this had happened, but yes.
And then I was still up until like 11 o'clock. And it wasn't great.
It was a rough one. I didn't get all the clips I normally like. At least I'd like to get like the the final remarks and the preview for the next episode. I couldn't even be bothered to do that. It was such a late one. Like Foster was with us last week. He's taking tonight off. But it was very hard on him. But he was a trooper, and he was there till the end. So and Jaemeel was there very much till near the end.
Until I had to.
We're going to Halifax on Friday night, so I was like, fuck. I probably shouldn't be doing this show either, but then I realized I won't be here next week, and I can't miss 4 weeks in a row. So
we appreciate that. Jeff. I talked to Jeff last night. We may get him sometime soon. It's seeming like it could be a possibility.
That's been a running joke for 3 seasons. The whole time I've been here, I think I've seen him 3 times.
He's he's at least watched 3 episodes of this season. He's not quite caught up, but he's not fully out of it, so he needs to catch up and then get back in here. and we'll
Okay.
the
Well,
curling season's coming to a close.
before we start, typically, if anyone watches or watched our Big Brother coverage, I typically were the one that has the ear to the streets, the ear to the online communities, as it were. And this season is so weird because it seems that there's more people who are more vocal about Survivor this season, and ranges from hardcores to even semi-casual folks who seem to have watched in the past and have come back, and just to see their remarks about how they feel the season is going and how specific individuals are are positioned. It's so weird. Like, first you have the everyone is too clean. Why aren't people more dirty? This seems fake, as the first kind of statement that you hear a lot of, right? Um, and
Who's saying these things?
people online, the people, Dave,
The people are talking. Okay, and
yes,
they're
the people are
saying,
talking.
and the people are complaining about the season.
Yeah, saying that the survivors are too clean, are way too clean,
Oh,
right?
nah, man.
So they complain of the
Well,
fake eyelashes, and people seemingly have clean clothes, but like I I'm confused in terms of with that, because these aren't people who, like, only a couple of people, like only Rizzo and really Savannah would not have really thought out what they're gonna wear having a Survivor season under their belt. So everyone's gonna be coming in with, if I wear this, it's just gonna I'm not gonna wear a white shirt, right? Because it is going to be muddy.
Devins looks dirty. He looks like a dirty businessman who from like
Devins
Lost.
looks dirty.
You know,
Aubrey, if you look at
Aubrey.
the edges of Aubrey stuff, it looks dirty. People
Christian
wash their
did poop his
clothes.
pants, and those pants.
Christian.
I was looking for tonight. I'm like, do those pants look pooped in? I said no to myself. I was like,
But
poop
they're
check.
also washing their clothes. They're
Those pants were. I think he was. I bet wouldn't be surprised if production was like, in this case, we're going to allow a launder. Are you allowed to have these
okay.
pants washed? We'll give you some spare pants.
Next thing, people are complaining is like we're not seeing them build their shelter, a lot of shelter life, and to that is we haven't been seeing that outside of the first episode for
Yeah,
years
for
now,
years.
right? Right? Because the focus is on the gameplay, not necessarily them building the shelter. It's not
It's not a survival
Australia.
show, and I'm not super happy about that because it used to be more of a focus here, surviving the elements. Now it's like, well, it's uncomfortable on a beach, basically.
But this isn't the
It's
season to see it, though, because
no.
majority of these people, they know how to build a shelter, and if they don't know how to build a shelter, they've gotten themselves prepared
I was
for the
thinking about
elements.
I was thinking about that exactly that tonight. I was like, all of these people have played multiple times. The last thing they're concerned with is things they already know how to do, and the production's not going to focus on that. To these people, they're camping basically. To most of them, they're just going
Yeah.
camping on hard mode for the most
Yeah,
part.
it's kind of, yeah. So we've dismissed that complaint, Jaemeel. So is there any more on the laundered list of internet
else you got?
crackpots?
Yes, and that is, people like Suri do not deserve to win because they haven't done anything. And you can put Suri in for that type of. You can replace her with any type of that type of archetype. Rizzo hasn't done anything, so he doesn't deserve to win. Or Aubrey hasn't done anything, so she
What if
doesn't
they've
deserve
all
to win.
not done anything? Do they all not
Yeah.
deserve to win simultaneously? Like, how does
Well,
this work?
the only people that have done anything that I've consistently seen in terms of the names that people want to win are Joe, Jonathan, and Ozzy. And I'm like, wait,
Okay, so these are
what?
like the three most athletically, like, or
So, but
naturally athletic
also
guys. But
Joe hasn't done shit. He can barely string together a sentence this season.
yeah,
Joe's done this. Joe's
Jonathan,
done this. Joe's done this.
yeah,
Joe.
Jonathan is a good choice for somebody that's done stuff because he's kind of been, in charge a bit. But the thing about Suri, which is dumb, have you never watched Suri play? She always makes it to the end by just whispering things into people's ears, like a Game of Thrones
Yeah, I think Cerie's playing a
That's
good
her
game
whole
this
shtick.
season. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm
She's playing her game.
Yeah,
She's
right?
playing
That's
her game. Yes.
and
so,
like I don't understand. People have this mindset where it's only one way to win Survivor, and the only one way to win Survivor is not what they're thinking of. Is that you get the votes to win? That's it.
well,
That's
like I
it.
think I'm sure there are some fans out there, maybe a vocal group who like, if you're like an Aussie who wins all the individual immunities and you're naturally got like this athletic merit or sort of accomplishment that somehow is like a resume, then sure. Like if that's one way to look at it, I suppose, like, but
He's only won one individual immunity. He said it was the last time was 15 years. So what happened since was it? I guess it was South Pacific, right? He's been playing.
it's
He's
15
playing.
years. That's how long it's been since he's played.
Yeah.
So, or
So
won an immunity at least.
so he hasn't done anything since South Pacific. All those 5 previous episodes, he hasn't done anything.
No, I guess not. I
It's
Aussie.
well,
I don't know. Like it depends, like how you're watching. Okay, these complaints are frustrating us more, Jaemeel. We can't dwell on them.
I just wanted to address it. Right?
Okay.
And this is a public forum. To
This
address it.
okay,
Dave,
get
let's
it
talk
out.
about the show. How do you feel about the show, Dave?
I think the show's good. I think the show's mostly good. Like I for the most part, I think that I'm mostly trying to follow the dynamics of these alliances, and I think that's the part is more. If I have a complaint, it's probably that, because 14 people here. I like that we get this massive tribal council, but on the other hand, it was kind of like a boring sort of outcome. It kind of, it was reminiscent of, maybe the new modern era of Big Brother, Jaemeel, where, like the house wants to vote together and everyone was like, okay, let's get D up. But because Survivor has the shot in the dark element to it, then they're like, okay, we have to have some votes on somebody else. So D and Tiffany get targeted here, mostly because there's this huge falling out between D and Jonathan after the Camilla vote out in the Blood Moon, right? So like, so I guess, but I it was nice to kind of see that come together. I was kind of wishing Coach would have taken more votes here. I was kind of
like about
surprised
that,
he didn't.
This is the first time in a very long time I've seen people actually argue on the beach. It feels like the old days. People don't really argue on the beach in the new. This is the kumbaya thing that I think Jeff isn't super into. Is everybody's trying to they're jockeying for position in a much more subtle way. But I think in this season we're actually going to see, because there's so many old school players that don't know the new school way to play, which is like everybody sort of be respectful. I think that Coach is going to just make everybody into a complete asshole, for a lack of a better term, because he's just the most rotten disaster person I think I've ever seen play the game, and especially this season. He's the Tide Walker for the whole season, and this whole time he's like, Dragon Slayer's back. It's all about honor. It's all about sticking to your guns, and it's all about bringing the war to me. I'm going to be the best general. And then the second he loses his little game, he throws a tantrum, throws the piece, and then starts sitting in a hammock doing haikus like an insane person. It's just it's wild to see this guy. The most D was right about him. Like, he's the most hypocritical loser ever.
But there's a reason. Like the thought process is, and this has come up a lot in Survivor interviews. Coach was not going to be going out tonight because a lot of players are afraid or respect the idea of the mayor survivor, which is the first person that gets voted out, who sets the tone of what the jury thought process is. Okay. And the way that Coach was talking, right? That's detrimental to a lot of players' game, saying that if you lie, you're not winning the game. It's like, excuse me, Cerie's not gonna outlast Ozzy in a endurance challenge, right? She's gonna have to outwit him to be able to get to the end. So you're now taking a vital piece of many people's kit out of the equation if you're going to be promoting that. Does that seem like a path for Emily? For Rizzo? Well, Rizzo's not winning individual immunity. Right?
I thought it would be funny to have Coach talk that big game and have to sit on the jury for the rest of the season. But you're right. He would poison Everybody that came in, the first thing he would say to them is what you're talking about. He would just poison the well. Dee's a newer player. She's probably never sat on the jury for that long.
She's a past winner. She's never been there at all.
Oh, she's only the one time she played, she won. So she's never actually been there before. So that's actually a really good point, Jaemeel. I respect you're voted onto my team for that.
Schoolyard pick.
I schoolyard pick you.
I'm not taking the credit for that comment. I'm just, repackaging information that people have talked about, right? And once you have that piece of information in mind, of course, D trying to do a live tribal, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, vote for coach." Yes. They were never going to vote for coach, right?
No,
they took the L. They're like, D's going to be gone, right? The thing moving forward is who's going to scoop up Tiffany because a whole bunch of people voted for her, right?
Right,
So,
and that was why people didn't want to have to put votes onto Tiffany because once you vote for her, it's very hard to pull you into an alliance with you because I was willing to vote for you, right? So Coach, I think, is one of the people who vote for Tiffany tonight. But yeah, I guess that whole dynamic. I guess what does Dean, I think, more than anything, and they illustrate this in this episode, is that she blabbed about Rizzo's idol, and so the combination of the blow up with Jonathan and her cutting ties with Rizzo really sinks her here. I think to the detriment of the Rizzo side, because I think they could have used her, in the war that's coming. The two groups, and I was watching Rob's sister Nino's breakdown of what he thought that the power dynamics were going to be moving forward. And a lot of it was centered around this alliance that has Coach at the center of it, I guess. This madman who's got Chrissy and Joe and Jonathan and and Stephanie, I guess, on some level as well. And so that 5, the power and honor 5 or whatever they are, and then you have you got Sri, Ozzy, and
Emily,
Rizzo. Sri, Ozzy, Rizzo, and then maybe Emily. But Emily's kind of with the Devons and Christian, and there's also Dee and Tiffany, right? And so they all could have that 9 could have united against the Coach 5, right? And they don't here. They don't take a shot at one of that side because I don't know. Maybe I think really because Rizzo was like, Dee's more of a liability. I don't want to work with her. She's a past winner. Let's not take the shot now, right? Here at 14, let's see how this shakes out at 13 and see how we can maybe take out the numbers or how this can go, because at this point Rizzo he's now a member of the 4 Horsemen. So he doesn't need to burn his bridge with Coach yet. If he's ultimately not gonna be able to get Coach out this vote, I think Devins and Christian would have very much liked to get Coach out here at this vote, but they don't get that outcome. They end up going along with everybody else,
So from Christian and Devin's perspective, D being gone is good because
they don't need her.
They don't need her, and technically they can scoop up Tiffany, right? And because Tiffany's number 1 was obviously D. Right?
I think Jonathan's complaints were justified. Dee was being she was playing a little too hard. She was being a bit of a snake, and then she didn't cover her tracks, and everybody it all came out. It all came to a head. But Coach going into full war mode was just he's so extra all the time. I saw somebody comment on Reddit that that conversation between when Coach is freaking out and Rizzo's like, "You got to calm down, man." It's kind of like Dwight Schrute. It's kind of like Dwight Schrute as Coach, Jim Halpert is Rizzo and Michael Scott is Coach. It's you just gotta, be the Dragon Slayer out there at Tribal, and at the camp, gotta just sit and do your haikus, buddy.
Yeah, we don't slay dragons at
camp.
At camp, we slay dragons at Tribal, and he's like, yes.
Yeah.
And then Rizzo's like, I've lived less time than these people have played, and I have to teach them Survivor.
I've never actually watched Coach's original season, Token Cheens.
You should watch it.
Yeah, I know it's pretty like iconic. A lot of iconic players coming out of that season.
Him and Tyson,
Uh,
yeah.
Tyson and Fishback and
That's
some
right around
AG.
when I got back into Survivor after not watching since like the second season, and I was like, "Oh, I'm hooked. I'm hooked on this again. This is amazing."
Yeah, it was. But I watched him in Heroes Villains. That was my introduction to him, and he was
Also
not impressive to me
fantastic.
in that season. He was on the Villains tribe, as I recall. And then did I watch him play one more time? I think
South Pacific. You saw him in South
South
Pacific.
Pacific. Okay, and this time is the worst of all. He is a madman. He is a crazy person. Like he does, And I don't know. We'll see how loyal Joe will be to him ultimately. I guess
What's
Joe.
it like around camp? Like the stuff we don't see. Like I just want to know what it's like to. I don't want to know personally. I'd like to see through a camera what it's like just to have Coach always there. Is everybody just on edge all the time? When he cuts
Yeah,
to
that
the
would be
same
fun.
scene?
That's like what Big Brother gives you is like the live feeds, and you really get that insight into how these people get along all day. It's not all the confessionals and all this. Like that only gives you so much of an insight into what the dynamics are, right? And when people are just living together, especially when they're miserable, being rained on, there's bugs, there's whatever all the time.
But imagine Coach is like a hoot in the sense that, like, sure, you have those moments where you're like, what the hell is wrong with this man? But at the same time, you can probably, and like, I bet you Emily does that all the time. Just people watches Coach and sees him scurrying around and doing Tai Chi and talking to himself and just laughing her butt off. I
That was one
bet
of
you
my
that's
favorite
what.
parts of this episode was Emily people watching him just act like a lunatic. Because Emily's great. Emily's almost like the audience self-insert in this season. Because she's like, I don't know how I got back out here. I barely played the first game well, and she's out here and she's just blabbing constantly about everybody's secrets and their idols, and she can't keep a secret to save her life. And it's great. She's just the worst player ever, but she's also very likable and very relatable, I think.
She kind of is like the worst. I would not want to be an ally of Emily because she
No.
would burn you so hard. Very
Just
like without.
accidentally. She's
Action.
not doing it on purpose. She's just like she just
Yeah.
has like she has no filter and she just like blabs. She just like
Yeah.
needs to say what she's thinking.
You're seeing Chaos Emily, like Chaos Cass, but it's Emily.
Yeah.
Chaos Cass could be there. Yeah. Okay, where do we want to go from here with this particular?
Okay, Dave, if I may. How did you feel about everyone returning to the same camp that night?
I liked it. Remember last week I said that's what I wanted and I got it. I just wish, so no, that was better because I was like, oh, it's gonna look better in the daylight. They're gonna reunite them, but I thought it took away from the authenticity of the merge, and that's what we didn't get. So I got what I wanted. So no complaints.
I was up kind of farting around in the kitchen. Did the people in exile come back the next morning, or did they come back at the same time too?
They came back in the morning.
Morning.
Okay, that's what I thought. Right, but yeah, having everybody else come back together and just discuss what just went down was nice. I love when an episode of Survivor starts off like with everybody like, holy shit, and then people start arguing. It's great.
Yeah.
Like when Ozzy freaked out a couple weeks ago when they got back. He had a little meltdown.
Yeah. Which I understand why he did not side with the D. Interesting wrinkle. Dave. No, you know what, Dave? I've already gone to you a couple of times. I'm going to go to you, Jason. Jason, how do you feel about the idol plays this season? Do you wish there were more?
I wish this Billie Eilish boomerang thing was more prevalent, but the idol has just been kind of falls to the wayside and has fallen to the wayside for a long time. It was nice to see Aubrey actually play it the way it's supposed to be played. Like if you have it and everybody knows you have it, it's the scarlet letter. So just expunge it. But when she didn't play it last week, they made a good point that her being like, "Oh, I forgot I had it," is a very dumb
And she
thing to
recognized
try
how
to
dumb it
pull
was.
off. That's true. Who still even has
Rizzo and Ozzy.
And they're not boomeranged yet though, right?
they both would go back to Genevieve, and Genevieve isn't there. So
they would
Okay.
just boomerang into nothingness.
They would
yes.
boomerang back into the woods to turn into the next, probably the. If I had to guess, there's going to be, when those are gone, one will go back into the woods as the one that they
Merge-idle.
usually do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
merge idol. So
Yeah.
here's the thing, and I don't know if people recognized it, but I didn't even recognize it. The Billy Eilish idols, you cannot play for anyone else except for yourself.
Right.
It can only be played for yourself, right? So that kind of limits its power in that respect, right? So I found it
Right.
interesting. I'm like, what? Man, I wish Aubrey was able to play it for D, right? And then I thought
Imagine
about
she
it. I'm like,
played for
no,
T.
she couldn't.
I know,
Even if
but
she wanted to, but
imagine
would
if she had to have, and yeah,
Well, Tiffany
there's
would have
that
gone
element
home.
too. Yeah,
Tiffany would have gone home. And Aubrey seems to be in, good relations with Coach as of right now.
Yeah, like I'm a little unsure about where Aubrey's place in this game is moving forward. Like who is her ally? Like
Tiffany.
she isn't Tiffany, okay, and that's it.
I don't know.
Well,
She vanquished her
Terms with
one.
Coach.
She vanquished her one arch rival, and since Genevieve went home, she's kind of just like, I don't know what's next. I'm gonna join the Four Horsemen as the sixth horseman.
No, notice that there's no why wasn't Chrissy a part of the Horsemen? Why
Right?
was
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, we know Coach, and Coach is all about a specific type of ending, and does not include either Chrissy or Aubrey winning.
Now,
Yeah, I wonder why. Because maybe you're a bit of a misogynist. So he's actually Will Ferrell's character from The Office.
we've been saying that Jeff and I at least, we've been saying that Coach is the Ed Baldwin from For All Mankind on Apple TV of Survivor.
My wife would understand that reference. I do not get it.
Yeah, well, ask her if she agrees if you have a chance.
Jason, For All Mankind, you can watch the reviews every Monday on Live Long and Podcast.
That's true.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
even into the new season, which we're covering now, which Adam Woodward loves. But anyway, well, that's a different podcast. Jaemeel, were you asking me a question before I dropped off?
Well, I redirected the question to Jason because I did realize you were kind of frozen, and I wasn't going to call attention to it.
Oh, was I on screen for after my thing crashed? Okay.
Yeah, you were kind of frozen. So.
I just lost the whole browser suddenly. But what are you gonna do? Yeah, okay. The Four Horsemen I wanted to bring up that what happens in this episode. Coach making Rizzo part of it. Rizzo going, yeah, man, of course I'm down with it. I'm totally down with it. He's like, no, he's like, well, now that Colby's gone, you can be the new Horseman. He's like, oh, that sounds great. I would love to be the replacement to your dead ally in the game. That sounds great. So of course he's going along with it, but of course doesn't mean it. But I was hoping Rizzo would be like, I am death. I am that's which Horseman I am, Coach, and I'm coming for you. But so let's say that Rizzo is death. Who is pestilence? Who is famine? And who is war?
So war is Jonathan.
Would be Joe.
Yeah, pestilence is Joe.
Pestilence is Joe. Okay, so he's the disease. So Jonathan is war, or is Jonathan famine?
I would say war, and Coach is famine.
Coach thinks he's war, but he's definitely famine. He's a tall, lanky weirdo who just is exhausting to everybody.
Holding his cross, his rosary all the time.
Yeah, is he Catholic or is that?
He is every religion all at once. I think.
Yeah.
I think
he's everything all at once.
Sometimes he's Buddhist. Sometimes he's a Catholic. Sometimes he's Jewish. I almost didn't say that right.
Yeah.
You got it. You got there.
He can say he's Jewish. Stephanie might not like him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's why I'm surprised Stephanie, Suri. Well, that's what was funny about Suri. Suri's like, yeah, I'll keep your secret, and then 2 seconds later, oh yeah, she got an advantage.
Watching Sari with Rizzo this season has also been kind of fun. She seems,
for some reason.
yeah, she seems to really take to him for whatever reason. I know you're not the biggest fan of Rizzo per se, Jaemeel, but I was talking to my niece Victoria, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I like Rizzo," and I'm like, "I think Rizzo's got some following. I think some Riz, if you will, the Riz God,
He's the
the god of charisma, perhaps."
Or Rizzo reminds her of her son.
Yeah. Which I remember you saying. Also, they have that funny named alliance, the Riz of Oz, Cerise Riz of Oz, or whatever.
Cerise Riz of Oz, or something. Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah,
but it sounded good.
So in that case, who's Dorothy? Is Cerise Dorothy? She's not in Kansas anymore.
Cerise can be Dorothy, sure.
Okay, who's
yeah.
Ozzy? Is Ozzy the wizard?
Ozzy is the scarecrow.
Yeah. Scarecrow? Okay.
Yeah.
No brain.
Looks like that.
Ozzy's the nude man on the TV.
Yeah.
I can corroborate your story. I did a little Google search, and oh my god,
Coach is like the Tin Man. A malfunction.
He's frozen oil can.
And I don't know who the line would be of this
Devins.
cast. Devins. Well, yeah. Devins doesn't. He's not able to rally votes here for coach at all.
No, he was also visibly drunk. So was Stephanie.
How were they drunk? What did they get from the
They went to the
Chinese food?
Chinese food challenge.
Did it come with beer?
Well, that's he. Christian was like, you had a couple of beers, didn't you? And he was like, yep. And then later, Stephanie burped. She belched, and I was like, oh, she must have had a couple of wobbly pops too.
Did I miss all this?
I'm looking at them chow down at Chinese food, and I'm like, you guys have not eaten enough food for you to eat that quickly. And
some of them had Applebee's yesterday. Come on.
It's Chinese food, though. I'll go through your system if you eat normally.
Yeah. And
look, I love drinking. Like, I love beer.
Than anything.
But if I was on Survivor, I wouldn't drink a lick of alcohol. The hangover from one beer after on an empty stomach for weeks.
Just eating rice and coconut. Jeez.
Yeah. Also, loose lips sink ships.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I always wonder what I would be able to handle or not handle. I think at least the first challenge reward I'm going to, I'm eating probably until I feel like I don't want to anymore, I suppose. Yeah. And then we'll see how it goes. But I can't imagine it's going to go great. That's the other thing I've been wondering about this 14-person tribe. You got a lot of people all have to share this beach together when you all have to find places to go poop, and then, unless they do it all in the ocean. But,
they're aqua dumping, obviously.
They're all aqua dumping. Okay, but I guess that works. It's not like back in the original Survivor, they had to build a latrine and then wash things and whatever else. But
there's probably a latrine. There's probably the latrine from all the people that played on that beach previously.
Perhaps, because now that it's like a permanent fixture, a permanent beach, they probably have maybe some designated areas.
They're just outhouses off camera.
Yeah. Stephanie, okay, in this goes to a reward or an advantage, I guess. She gets a chance to compete for an advantage in this episode, holding her arm above her head with this bucket above her, and how were you guys we were reminded when she dislocated her shoulder back, I think it was in Heroes Villains. She did that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you how you feel about watching her in this, guys. Were you pleased to see her get this extra vote?
No, but I knew she was going to win based on the way she was talking the whole time.
That monologue kind of, yeah. The funny thing is, I saw a clip with Sheehan beating, I think it was Rob, Boston Rob.
Mm-hmm.
I think in All Stars. So it was just so funny seeing that same challenge come up. I wish they actually had it as an immunity challenge because it's been so long since they've done that specific one, where it's just like, you got to hold it up. Last one to lower their hand loses, right?
Right.
Or wins, right? So I wish they would
Was
do
that
it.
one of the old ones that just went on for hours and
I
hours?
think it was like 3 hours. 3
They got.
hours.
I
Like
feel like
issue
they
one.
got rid of the ones that go on for hours and hours because, it
People get
doesn't.
overheated. I think that's
Yeah.
probably the main
And
reason.
because the episode is being filmed in a day, then they can't be burning daylight like that.
Yeah. We got people are in the union here. Everyone, we got to break for
The Teamsters are angry. We got to wrap up this challenge.
exactly. Yeah. So she gets an extra vote. Was that what she got?
No,
Or steal a vote. Steal a vote.
Steal a vote.
Right. Which she tells. Well, Sari just figures out she's lying, and then and then like did she actually tell anyone? Or no, Sari just tells Rizzo, and I don't know.
Immediately.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens here with Stephanie, but I don't know. Like, is she gonna win this game?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Producers clearly want her to.
Producers like her. I think Jeff likes her.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I just feel like in terms of win capital, she hasn't been presented as a winner.
Yeah, I wouldn't say she's getting any kind of winner's edit. It's more like they have a nostalgia for Stephanie here.
Yeah.
That's how I feel the edit's going.
And folks, there's a difference between being highlighted because you are an interesting character versus building a case for why you should win. Christian has had a case built for why he should win. Not really Devins. Devins has been more of a comedic ally, right? Coach has been presented as a person of note who has a storyline that seems to be coming close to its conclusion. I feel, right?
I agree. I thought he was gone tonight.
Yeah, I think it's probably next episode for Coach is my prediction.
I didn't think he was going to get away with all the nonsense on the beach, but I think that people were too afraid to break that 7-4 split thing that they did.
Yeah, Jonathan has been presented as someone to win. Joe, he's window dressing, right? People like Joe, but I don't see.
Yeah, I can't see Joe winning. I think for me, it's like Aubrey's right up there in terms of her story. I can because I think she's got a compelling story if she gets to the end, and she could easily win. And I agree, Jonathan might have a case now. He's kind of doing things, and past that,
I think if Dee had been able to pull off the live tribal thing that she was trying to do, and everybody was like, Coach is talking too much shit, I think that Dee could have turned her game around with that move. But, I think that she was raising too much stink, and I think that it was in their best interest to do it. Yeah, I saw some people there are a lot of people just talking shit that they don't know about, and the people were like, "Oh, that was contrived." The producers probably just told her to do a live tribal to make it seem one way because it was so cut and dry at camp. But it's like, I don't know, my conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat isn't that tall
with Dee. Like what? This is all theatrics.
Yeah.
Well, she's gonna try everything. To be fair, here's the thing that people don't understand who kind of watch this and like, oh, only this person should win, right? Because the other people aren't doing anything. The fact of the matter is everyone is doing something. Everyone is doing a whole lot of things, but they're only presenting stuff that is relevant to their edit that they have.
They have to tell a story. And yeah, in terms of what the narrative I'm seeing, like there's a few other characters that are possibilities here. I think Ozzy and Sari and Rizzo are all prime contenders for winners edits in the season. Like I could see those. They might be the final three.
End game. They're an end game, right?
Well, you're not going to see. Yeah, we're not going to see them what they're doing until later. I know what you mean, especially with this many players. 14 people on one beach right now is unprecedented. That's
except for One World, I suppose. But
I was going to say old school Survivor would have a giant group of people at one tribal, but not like this. And also we speculated in the first couple episodes what they're going to do, how they're going to deal with this many people out there. And they're showing us they're having 3 vote outs in one season or 2, like back-to-back episodes, multiple people voted off. Next week, another thing is happening. It's probably the Mr. Beast episode. If I was to guess, that briefcase is going to have a gun in it. You get the gun.
Okay, you can win $1 million if you kill all your fellow contestants.
I
Go!
just throw the gun out into the ocean. Inside the briefcase, locked up.
Jonathan takes it. I'm sorry, Mr. Jeff. I got to end this season now.
Yeah.
You get $2 million if you kill Jeff. Boom.
And you get to be the host of Survivor. Yeah. If you're in the universe of the movie The Long Walk or The Hunger Games, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Right. But sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
Good call though. Good pull. Because it happens in both.
Okay, yeah, but in terms of like, who I think we were talking about the winners edits. Who do we think are getting the winners edits? Who are like positioning as somebody who can win? There's like, I don't think it's Chrissy Jaemeel. I'm sorry to say. Maybe I'm wrong.
Not as right now. Like, here's the thing. Like, the stories that you kind of see being built out is for Emily. Emily's going to be told something. I feel like if we're writing the end of the story, she's going to be told something, and it's going to be a choice to either tell people or not. Right?
And she will.
Doing so, regardless of if it is to or not, will lead to her getting voted out, right? And that will be her resolution because that's kind of the story they're telling. She can't keep a secret, right?
Or somebody feeds her some false information, which would be a good little.
Which leads to someone that's important to her or herself getting voted out, right? Right. Once again, you want to type these stories. For Joe's stories, Joe's going to get an honor exit where he tried and he couldn't do it and eventually he's voted out. He did it for his kids and he held his head high and coach is going to stand up and clap while he gets his torch snuffed out and they're going to play the music. The music is going to be very dramatic and sad, and that's going to be Joe riding off into the sunset, right? Just like you saw how it was like Colby was the main event for last week's episode. Right.
I think for these legacy players like Stephanie, like Colby, they like for the ones who have come back from over a decade ago, I think that they really want to celebrate them and pipe them out as they exit the game, so or you just give them their moments and say, like, if you came back after all these years, we really are grateful, for everything you did for us back then and, for you coming back this time. So I guess that's nice, but it's getting a little boring too.
We should be seeing a Coach versus Ozzy endurance challenge episode, somewhere down the line.
Coach, I'm not that impressed with Coach as a competitor this season. Like, he did win that key challenge because Ozzy's like, whoever gets I'll get the key, right? And then he's like, no, I'm still in this key. Like, that's the kind of thing Coach will beat Ozzy in. Not so much in like who can hold a pole with like a ball on it, for the longest period of time. But actually, speaking of which,
D for that so hard.
Yeah, I was cheering. I really wanted to see D win immunity tonight, and I think talk about the challenge, might be apropos at this moment, because we don't have Foster here to check in with his breakdowns of the challenges, but I thought this one was okay. They got to push a big ball over a bunch of obstacles to get to a puzzle, But
so Dave, to step in for Foster, if you're watching this challenge, the MVP of that challenge is Emily. Because if you watch it back, she was like, okay, guys, I'm helping. And she's like a step back. She's barely touching the ball.
She was more of a director, really.
Right.
But
I did also like the fact that they had both Christian and Emily go up the ball first, right? So that they can have eyes on the puzzle while everyone else is coming up. And I think that really helped them get a good start.
Yeah, so my complaint from this challenge isn't even really the challenge itself. It's an editing complaint that they did the schoolyard pick and they give us the result and they tell us who the captains are, but we don't really get to see that drama. I would, cut down the edit on this challenge. I get it. Basically, they're going to push a ball and then they're going to get to a puzzle and it's going to be close. That's what it is every friggin' time.
We've talked about that a lot. One thing I did appreciate, though, it was finally like two pretty like even teams for once, not just like it was when they were pushing the boat out of the water a few episodes ago, where it was just like completely mismatched teams. The ending was extremely close, and which I appreciated, but I just think Coach throwing that piece. Why didn't Jeff say like, hey man, Like, it's unnecessary.
That seems
Somebody
very
painted that.
honorable.
Is that honor, or are you? Well, that's the whole thing with Coach is that he was on the villain tribe in Heroes versus Villains. He's still a villain, but he's like this villain who thinks he's a hero. That's what because that's what a great villain is. Somebody who like
A great wrestling villain, especially
a great wrestling villain, especially. Like, he's got a story. He's a heel, right? You know, he's kind of up his own butt in a way you can't quite talk him out of, and it's fine. You know, it's like he's just
80s
kind of
heel Macho Man, when Macho Man was like, I'm obviously the good guy versus Hulk Hogan, and in the end he was right, but this isn't the 80s. This is Coach is not a coach.
Yeah, he's like he's not as like he doesn't talk like Macho Man, but he has that same intensity where he's like, what's happening? I don't know. I'm like, it's just like this paranoia and this madness and this
Space is the place.
Space is the place.
Space is the place.
I'm a slam poet and whatever else he's got going on.
Because the cream always rises to the top.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's very much that kind of madness. But yeah, anyway, the other thing with this challenge too that Jane was especially picking up when we were watching it was the sound effects, because they seem to be
I was going to mention that too. They foleyed the shit out of that ball. It sounded like the ball from Indiana Jones.
Yeah. It was like every time that ball went over, somebody was like, boom, and I was like, is there a microphone inside of the ball?
No, they added those in because somebody cracks their neck somebody goes like this at one point, and they added a to the neck sound.
Yeah, and it was just like, this is a very intense challenge. I guess they're trying to make them more exciting or something.
And when they did the flashback to Stephanie's arm cracking, it was really tough to watch. The sound was outrageous.
Please, when next episode when Coach is doing Tai Chi, in the rock circle, let him.
Oh yeah.
And they overdubbed his mouth. They overdubbed what he's saying. Let's
do it. Producers, please. You still have a week. Do it.
This guy's nuts.
Yeah, so the part one was just push the ball through with these crazy sound effects, and it was the team that Christian picked, because Christian was one of the captains, and I think that Jonathan was one of the captains, and Jonathan definitely did pick D to be on his team, and that's the team that ended up winning, the Christian team, and then so those 7 go on to compete in the put a ball on the edge of it, which we mentioned. I think we were. Well, at least Jason and I were cheering for D. Were you cheering for D as well, Jaemeel?
I just didn't want Stephanie to win. I know she wouldn't win.
Yeah, she came close though. She
up from what she had to do earlier, too.
Yeah, like she's like, oh, my right shoulder's garbage now, but I'm like, you had reconstructive surgery, so isn't it reconstructed, or it's not as fully constructed?
You don't have the what's that movie MVP where you could.
Yeah, you should have is that the guy from American Pie, right?
Yes.
And
Jonathan,
player of the year.
Michael. No, it's Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year. Yeah.
Daniel Stern. Ian Michael Thomas, I think, or something.
I have to look up.
And when he hits the doctor with his hand, what does he say? Funky but loving.
Yeah, Thomas Ian Nicholas is.
Why do I remember that? No reason. I don't know.
You probably just stuck in your head as a kid. I had that movie and Angels in the Outfield mixed up in my mind. I saw them both in theaters also. I loved baseball movies as a kid.
Me too. Yeah, well, I liked Angels in the Outfield better, but anyway.
Because you got Danny Glover, that's why.
Yeah.
Danny Glover.
And also
and it
movie,
had...
the plot is nonsensical. Anyway, we don't have to get into that.
That's another podcast.
But might be this podcast right here one day.
Anyway, well, I guess the other thing to talk about in this immunity challenge was, it ultimately ends up with Ozzy winning. So I was kind of happy that, they stuck to this 14-person tribal. They basically they had this this tournament to get down to 7 people to have an immunity challenge, like an endurance immunity challenge. And I think the result of it was good in terms of mechanics. They didn't try to go to 2 tribals here and have 2 people win immunity. 1 person won immunity. Done. And I like the simplicity of it. Even if it's not maybe as twisty as maybe the producers would have liked. But like Ozzy ends up winning here. Ozzy hadn't won an immunity challenge since 15 years ago, I guess, last time he played
in South Pacific, I believe.
in South Pacific. But he's
got
only one now
match.
behind Boston Rob.
And still plenty of time to go ahead of Boston Rob.
Are we hoping he breaks the record? Is this kind of like with Ovechkin chasing the Gretzky record?
I think it is because Ozzy represents that about Survivor. When he played his first, I think he got most of his wins in his like first time he played, probably. Because I remember that was before they got people out immediately who were like winning challenges. You didn't have a target on your back for that kind of thing back then. You're like, oh, this person's winning for us, keep them in.
Oh yeah, especially in the old days, yeah,
that's
in the earlier stage of the game. He's played 5 times.
He was one challenge away from getting to the final. I think for fire making, or no, this before fire making, he would have been in the final 3, in South Pacific, and he got voted out, I think.
He was runner up in Cook Islands in his original season.
Yeah, Cook Islands, right?
And then there was one season where he got voted out like really, really early.
Yeah.
There's that too. But I'm just trying to figure out how many times Boston Rob played compared to Ozzy, and it seems like
4,
3, 4, 5, 6 times Boston Rob played.
Jeez.
And Ozzy,
he was the special thing on one season too.
So for Island of the Idols.
You go talk to him or Sandra and get clues.
And this is Ozzy's 5th time playing.
Yeah. So in Island of the Idols, because this came up in interview with Boston Rob, little brief segue. They actually came to him and asked him if he wanted to stay in like a kind of resort during that season, and he said no. And then they asked Sandra, like they told Sandra that they told Sandra that they're going to stay on the island and they had no choice, not knowing that they did have a choice, and Rob made the choice for them both.
No.
And he never told her that.
Yeah.
I bet she would have been like, yeah, I want to stay in a hotel.
So in Island of the Idols, Boston Rob was not a player, so that doesn't count. So he played 4 times
40,
as a player.
He played in 40.
Or 5. Sorry.
He played in 40, right?
Yeah, he played in 40, and then he also played in Redemption Island, Heroes Villains, and All Stars and Marquesas.
Yeah.
So those are his 5. So when if Ozzy does break the record here, then he played 5 seasons. Boston Rob played 5 seasons. It's even Steven in terms of their chances to rack up immunity wins.
But Dave, we don't think of Rob as a challenge beast. We think of Rob as a winner and person who controls.
That's true. If you ask me like who has the most immunity wins ever, I wouldn't have said Boston Rob necessarily. Like it's kind of surprised me when they said he had the record, but I guess
you would have thought either Ozzy or the jeweler. What's the jeweler's name?
The jeweler.
He was a jeweler. He was another comp beast. I forget his name.
He's Don the jeweler from Donnie Brasco. That's who you're referring to.
No,
he's a good earner.
I forget his name, but he was also a jeweler as well. I think he played with the same season as Jeremy as well when Jeremy won.
Okay. Well, anyways, so I just, in terms of draft update, Team Jane and Dave is suffering as we lose a D tonight. We lost Savannah, and we already had Stephanie, so this is not great. This has not been what we had hoped. Stephanie, I guess, is our best hope, and I don't think Stephanie will win. So at this point, I just don't see it. But anyway, we can kind of eulogize D here. Remember her from just her little exit interview. Just give me a second here to pull it up. And we can say goodbye to the last winner former winner that came into the season. Maybe she'll play on an all returning winner season yet again.
Maybe.
I think she'll be
100.
Yeah, I think they'll have D back. Just for the Zach Brown segments. They'll bring D back.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a
I
look.
gave it my all. They got me. I think I definitely made a few mistakes. One of them was being a little bit too fiery with Jonathan. But right now, I just feel immense gratitude in my heart because I'm the mayor of the jury and I'm just really, really excited. I'm going to vote for the best person on 50 because I want this to be the greatest season ever.
See?
Will her being the mayor of the jury make the greatest season ever?
It's a better start. I think
It's a better start than if Coach had been the mayor of the jury.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Coach will be sitting right next to her very soon. So
Probably. And I guess that might be as good of a moment as ever to look at the preview for next episode and talk about what we can look ahead to. Here it is.
One more thing. I gotta give you a nickname.
Oh wait, that's not it.
There is only one Dragon Slayer, and there will never be another one.
Next time on Survivor.
We have a chance to take the heart of the Death Star.
One side is going to be able to take power.
They're snakes. Another twist. Double the consequences.
Wow.
I'm Joe.
Okay. They're snakes. Sari is in tears in that clip. We got
They're burning her couch. They're burning her couch.
You got Christian saying there, we have a chance to strike at the heart of the Death Star.
Which makes me mad again, because if you're going to have the Star Trek, analogies that you're going to be saying that you're Captain Kirk and Spock, and then you guys keep on making Star Wars references, you're messing the plot.
You think they're mixing the crossing the streams? This is
Yes.
Because at the recent Bond spiel I was at,
we're going to turn into the smoke monster and fly a dragon right into the heart of the Enterprise.
Right. It's like use the Force. It's a Gandalf.
Use the Force, Harry.
Prosper.
Use the Force, Harry. It's a picture of Patrick Stewart. It's that kind of reference. Okay, but how about that Coach moment where he's like doing his whatever he does, his moves with his hands, and he's doing it in that arch of on that beach. That looked pretty cool. Like, do I think Coach is intimidating at all? No, but
So, are you saying that Coach would be a member of Eagle Fang?
I don't know. It was just like it might have been my favorite like preview ever. Just like based on how it starts, and you get all these like kind of moments and you're left like wondering about. You got Joe like saying the snakes, and you got Sari in tears. You got the whole Death Star reference, which sure is not. They're not keeping to the theme, but like what does that mean? Double the consequences. We hear from Jeff. And then we have Chrissy at the end, kind of with her jaw on the floor, going what? But I don't know. Like we're going down to 13.
We're coming out, and they're gonna have to use the gun.
Yeah, like we're going to 13 people here. Is there like I guess 2 votes out in this next episode potentially? Like, are we gonna go down to?
When it gets to 12, they will split the tribes up and have 2 separate tribal councils.
Do you want that? Do you want 2 tribes?
They always do it.
They don't have to do it.
They
didn't do it. They didn't do it tonight. We thought they would do it. We thought we would get a split tribal tonight, and we didn't.
I didn't think the way that people were reporting that it was going to be the idea that they can have the largest tribal council ever. That was too enticing.
So they did it, but they're like, okay, let's not be crazy anymore. Where you get these crazy live tribals, and maybe they also think that these big tribals aren't necessarily the most entertaining. I think tonight's had some evidence to that. That like, okay, it was either D or it was Tiffany, and you're right. Like nobody was that eager to try to flip the vote because it's so many votes to try to flip
For the
and try
first
to
time ever, you're gonna put your buffs. You're gonna pick up your buffs and go back to your original tribes.
Well, that could be something. Like in terms of who's
Is
left.
Rizzo the only one from his tribe, or
no, Rizzo, Stephanie, and Aubrey are still in the game from that.
You're gonna eat warm chocolate cake and
a blooming
all
onion
the
from Applebee's.
Yeah, you have to all eat a blooming onion, and whoever vomits
it's double the consequences. It's double the Applebee's.
It's double the diarrhea. Okay, no. So if they had to go back to original tribes right now, Rizzo, Stephanie, and Aubrey from the Vatu tribe. There are only 3. From the Kahlo tribe, you have Tiffany, Jonathan, Coach, and Chrissy. And then from Sela, you have Rick Devens, Ozzy, Joe, Emily, Sari, and Christian. So by far, Sela has the most original numbers here. Sela. But I don't know. The Sela group, Joe's like the most odd man out from that original Sela group. He's all the way into with Coach's team, which is mostly made up of former Kala members.
He barely played Survivor the first time. He's hardly playing it this time.
Yeah, like there was a moment he had in this episode tonight where they come to him and he doesn't even speak. He just kind of he's mute.
No, he talks about he does the analogy about the firehouse, and then he takes back the analogy about 2 minutes later.
Like, sorry, I didn't mean that.
Yeah, I really didn't mean to be interesting on the show. I was told not to be interesting, and I was doing my best, but here we are. Joe. I'm like, what? Like Joe in challenges, I guess, is something. Like if that's the spectacle of Joe, but in terms of his Survivor play.
Behind the scenes, Joe seems like a lovable like doofus,
Sure.
Like he seems like he's funny, but he's not really much substance, and you can kind of see that when Jeff asks him a question directly, he never really knows what to say, and he'll say just like a couple words, and then somebody will just like interrupt him or be like, "Yeah, good point, but also now I'm Christian, I can talk for 5 straight minutes, and we're gonna focus on me now."
Well, look, Joe has to, maintain a specific type of aura, and also he has his Tyler Perry TV show that he's going to be doing, after this season. So he has to,
Is that real?
Yeah, he's going to be a firefighter in a Tyler Perry TV show.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
They just hire anybody on those shows, I guess. He
I
churns
suppose
out
so.
like 3 a year, it seems like.
That's movies. TV shows, he turns out more. Or at
He
least
does?
episodes. Yeah, episodes, yes.
That new Medea movie that doesn't even focus on Medea that's coming out looks insane.
Jason, have you ever seen a Tyler Perry movie in
I've
theaters?
never. The most Tyler Perry I've seen is him as Baxter Stockman, I think.
Okay, I'm telling you, like, I've never laughed so much. Now, was it intentional? No. But
Like what kind of laughter, is
this is so ridiculous.
so bad it's good kind of thing.
The imagery is so on the nose. It's ridiculous. Or is it? We were watching the movie, I think it was called Temptation, where this woman cheats on her husband. And basically her life falls apart because she does that. And when she cheats, like the house that she's in has like fire literally in like as like a design motif in the person's like mansion, like their fireplace kind of extends, so it's like, oh, she's in hell. And then when she cheats, her life falls apart to the point where she becomes this decrepit old woman at the end of the
This
movie.
is one of his
And
like serious, like more like thriller.
it's
Okay.
I was dying. I was dying in the aisles. It was so funny. So
Well, there you go. Okay,
I'll
well,
put that on my list of movies and I'll tag you when I watch it.
I think we'll
leave it to number 71.
Yeah.
I guess we'll sign off for tonight and close things out. So I'll be on with Jason tomorrow night on Hey, Did You See This One? Where you get all your great movie reviews with him and Steven. We're talking about Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Anything else I should add to that, Jason?
Well, it's my birthday month now, and we're doing the most random mishmash of movies because I was going to do, I think I mentioned this, but I was going to do just like animated films. So we're doing the Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie and Advent Children in a couple weeks. I'm taking a week off next week to go to Halifax. But yes, you were on for Wrath of Khan, and I'm having also my friend Graham on, I have people come into my like promotions, like my friends will be like, I want to do this movie, and eventually they'll say it so many times that I'm like, fine, we'll just do Speed 2, Michael Mongiardi, which happened. and it was a great
Cruise control.
episode. So we were
control.
gonna do the cell with a friend of this show, a friend of the Star Trek element of the United Federation podcast, Jenny Johnson, but she had to back out, so I had to rejig the whole month. And I was like, you know what? Hey Steven, should I ask Dave to be on? And he'd be like, he said it would be weird if you didn't ask Dave to come do the Star Trek movie we're doing. So Dave, unfortunately you were an afterthought, and I apologize, but I would be remiss if you weren't to say you were the first person.
Well, I'm always honored to join
you.
you both for the for an episode, especially for something like this, which I have a lot to say. So always do. So look forward to being on.
Very quickly, 8 p.m. Every Thursday Eastern time, and then the show will go on demand over the weekend. So
there you go. All right, I'll be on with you on Live Long and Podcast tomorrow. I will not be there, but we got Heather Narduzzi, who is going to be taking over to host our Star Trek Next Generation review of season 4, episode 2, Family, where Picard goes back to see his brother and his family, including his nephew Renee. So good episode. After he was assimilated by the Borg, they took all the Borg out, and he's recovering. He's drinking wine. He's being French. Check it out. And then also on our For All Mankind reviews every Monday, you can see us there checking out season 5, episode 3 with Home. This is Ed Baldwin. He is the coach of For All Mankind. So if you want a Survivor reference. There you go. Okay, well, that is it for tonight. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next time. And we'll leave you with this.
Let's go! Come on, Survivor 50. Get it on. Come on, join me.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And take a peek into the darkness with Heard Noise, Must Investigate with Michael Chan. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.